Hey guys, I'm doing a little project in a remodel. This is bathroom tiles and their she shells. I'm going to show you guys how to mix up and pour these molds. What we're doing is we're using plaster of Paris because it sets up a lot quicker. And it only takes 1 hour cure time from pour. So you can get a lot of these molds done in one day or however long that you have. The cement takes about 24 hours before you can take them out of the mold, so I decided to go with the plaster of Paris. I'm using this in a water environment, so I have to seal it. I'm using a clear epoxy that I'm going to seal this with. I'm not going to be sealing it in this video because we're just pouring. I'm not got the tiles colored or anything yet. I'm going to stain the tiles and then clear them. What you need is just a bucket and a drill with a paddle on it and some plaster of Paris. And as you can see, you need somewhere that you don't mind making a mess because it's pretty messy. You need a cup to measure out your plaster of Paris. The plaster of Paris is 2 parts to 1 part water. I add a little bit more water to mine because the plaster of Paris sets up so quick. A little bit more water gives you more workable time, plus it gives you a little bit easier to get it out of your molds too. It seems like it just works a lot better. These plastic molds, if you're really rough on them, you'll crack the edges, and you can see where I've had to tape these where they've actually cracked right there. So you have to be careful with the plastic molds because you can't put a lot of force on them. But anyway, we're getting ready to mix up some of this plaster of Paris. This right here is the cup that I'm using. I'm going to do 2 cups of this plaster of Paris, and I'm going to do 1 cup and then another cup up to where my thumb is, about right here, with water. It's a little more than the bag says mix. It just seems to work better for me. It's easier for me to pour, and the working time's a lot better. The strength, I can't tell a difference from. I'm going to cover this with clear epoxy anyway, so they're going to be really strong and waterproof when I get done. But 2 cups of plaster, 1 cup of water, plus I add about a half to a quarter extra water. You just have to play with it to see what works best for you. That just works best for me, an extra half a cup of water. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get all this set up, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so we've got 1 cup of water, and then I'm going to put a little bit more in here. It's about half the cup. You don't have to mix this very long. You don't have to mix it very much. This stuff breaks up pretty well. Alright, and that's all you have to do. You get a very liquidy consistency. And then you have to be pretty quick when you pour them in these molds. It's going to be hard to do this in film too, but just like that. All right. Oops, over poured that one a little bit. It's no big deal, it breaks off real easy when you take it out of the mold, so I just leave it. We got this one right here. You always want to try to pour from the center of the mold and let it spread. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take the edge of the mold, just kind of shake them to kind of fill up the corners. This one here. See this overhang, all this stuff right here, it'd be easy to pop off once it dries. So I'm not even going to mess with it now to make a mess. Just shake it a little bit and you see those air bubbles come out. You ain't got to shake them much. Try to have a pretty good level of space too. This is not that level. It's not going to really matter that much. We got one more. As you can see, the working time on this stuff is not that great. It's already starting to set up on me, and I still got this one more tile to pour. Alright guys, sometimes when you're pouring molds, you have not enough. So when you're doing tiles like this, a lot of times it really don't matter. You don't really have to fill them up all the way, as long as you get your corners. That way you can keep everything kind of flush. If you get one that's a little low, you just put a little bit more mud and glue behind it. But this one right here, I can show you, I used just a piece of, I scraped my bucket here, got a lot of it out that I could, and I just didn't have enough. So I just used a piece of cardboard, and I just made the corners where they were flush. That way when I pop this mold out, it doesn't really matter about this area right here, because you're not going to see any of that from the front side. We can put more glue right here, or more whatever you're going to use as adhesive. This right here doesn't really matter. As long as your corners are up, you're good. So I just took this, just run it evenly across the corners, and now when this tile dries, it'll still be flush, but I just didn't need to mix up any more and waste any more plaster to fill this up right here. I'm going to finish filling the rest of these tiles up right here, but I have to go mix up more plaster. This stuff sets up extremely fast. Don't mix up a lot, because it'll set up on you. So I do this pour in 2 mixes. I pour these 4 tiles right here, and then I pour this one by itself. It takes 1 mix. I actually did this in 3, sorry. I pour this one by itself, and then I pour this one and this one out of the same bucket. These take a little bit, but they're not really expensive to make. The plaster of Paris I buy at Lowe's is like $16.70 some cent. These molds I ordered on eBay. I had to wait about 3 weeks for them to come in, and they were like 78 bucks. But it's going to be a crazy bathroom. I'm going to go show you some tiles I've already done, and let me know what you guys think. Leave comments below if you need some help. I don't mind helping any way that I can. Let me show you these other tiles. This is a full remodel here, so it's quite a bit of a mess still. I'll walk over here and show you these tiles. Alright. It's kind of dark, so this is what the product you get when you get done. I'm going to pop some of these out and show you how easy it is to make them. The detail with the plaster is crazy. It's beautiful. Once I get these stained and I get them polished, they'll be really beautiful. I've got a few made so far. I need a lot more to go. Here is the cement ones here. They're going to be a lot heavier than these plaster. And you lose some detail in these. And it also takes a day to do just those 7 right there that you see. 24-hour cure time versus 1 hour cure time. You get a lot more panels. You just got to go through an extra step of putting the poly on them, the epoxy, to make them waterproof. I'd a whole lot rather epoxy all those than just be able to make a very few. Plus, you got a lot of added extra weight with these. But, alright guys, we're going to wait 1 hour on these molds to cure over here. That's what the set time is on demolding these right here. And this right here, as you can see, it's no problem. It's already it'll break off real easy when you demold this. So don't worry about it. You ain't got to try to clean it up or anything. It'll just pop right off. And this right here, I thought I was going to need it. I used it on a couple panels and I didn't see a difference. So I haven't been using it. I just pour it right in there. Let it set. We're good to go. 1 hour, guys. Just wait 1 hour before you try to demold these. Alright, I'll be back in an hour and we're going to demold these. Alright guys, welcome back to the second part of this video. We're going to be unmolding these now. So remember I told you how this over right here wouldn't really matter? Well, I'm going to show you how easy it is to pop off. Just like that. Move your mold up just a little bit. And all that extra just pops right off of there. Just like that. Alright, now what you want to do after you got the surface clean is you want to flip the mold over. That's our design right there. And you're going to come here to the corners. And just push down with your thumb and lightly pull up on the corners. Just go to the 4 corners like that and just keep working it down with your thumb while pulling light pressure up. Alright, you can feel it breaking loose underneath your fingers. Go to the other side and do the same thing. Lightly pulling up. And you feel it breaking loose. And you feel it moving. See it coming out of the mold. Still stuck right here a little bit. These have been set up an hour. Alright, you just feel it just pop loose right there. You gotta be real easy trying to get these out that you don't damage any of your detail. Because you can pop off pieces if you try to take it out. Alright. And there's our finished product. Alright, let me get the next one here. The bigger the piece, the better it is to work. This one doesn't have anything around the top, so we're just going to flip it over like that, and we're going to start working these corners. See, barely any pressure, and it already broke loose like that. Go to the other corner. This corner's tore a little bit, so I have to be easy. I haven't put any tape on it yet. But these big ones just pop loose really, really easy. Just work all the way around to the other side. Just keep turning your piece as you're working it, and bam, popped up. That's our piece. There's the mold. Alright, we're going to go on to the next piece. Alright, this one's our square one. It looks pretty good too. There's the back side. We're just going to go ahead and flip it over. We'll start working our corners. You see this mold's tore. I got to put some tape on it. These bigger ones are real easy to get out. Just very light pressure. Just keep working it all the way around. And there it is. There's our mold. There's our plaster. It's pretty good. It's got a few air bubbles in it. I should have shook this one just a little bit more. It'll be alright. Alright, here's one of our long pieces. We got a little excess right here at the top. We're just going to pop it up like that. Gets rid of it. Alright. We'll flip it over. Start working our corners. You can see this mold cracked right here, but I taped it. Add a little more durability. Try to get a few more uses out of this mold. That Gorilla Tape seems to do the trick. Sturdy these molds up. Just take your time unmolding these. Alright, that one popped off pretty easy. And there we go. Here's the mold. Alright. Moving right along to the next one. Alright, this is this piece here. We'll flip it over. We'll start working our corners. You can feel it start to pop loose. You don't have to put a whole lot of pressure on these. These molds will crack. You can see that one cracked. I taped it. The cement's a little bit harder to get out of these molds than the plaster is. But the plaster seems to work better for what I'm using it for. There's our piece. And there's the mold. Alright guys, y'all remember this piece? This piece I didn't have enough to fill up the center, so I just got the corners right here so it would make it level when I set it. I fill this right here up with glue or whatever I'm going to use to set it with. Probably just some mud, tile mud, adhesive. So you just clean off those edges like that. Get all that loose off. Just pop out just like any other one. Just work it in the corners. The smaller they are, the little bit harder they are to get out of the molds. I'm saving the really hard one for last. We got one more. This one's a pretty easy one here. It's a little bit smaller. You gotta work it a little bit more to get it to break loose. You don't have the flexibility of the plastic on the smaller molds. Stuck right in here. This is wanting to be a little difficult to get out. She's working free now. Still stuck a little bit on this end. Alright guys, it finally came loose. There's our piece. See, it doesn't affect the front side at all. And you're not going to be able to see that right there because you're going to have grout in it. You're not going to be able to see those sides because you're going to have grout. The back side looks a little rough, but you don't see that. The front side looks beautiful. Last but not least is this little guy. And it's a pain to get out because it's so small. I just worked the corners a little bit. And the best bet is like smack this thing out. And bam. It actually came out pretty easy that time. There's the plaster mold. There's the other mold. Alright guys. If you got any questions, let me show you one more thing before I end this video. These molds are not flat on the bottom. They're concaved. So I set mine up on these 2x4 ledges just around the edge of the molds so that the molds will sit level. All they are just sitting right up on the edge of the molds. Keeps everything nice and level. It's nothing fancy. Nothing fancy. You can do this at home. Just put down some plastic if you're going to do it anywhere that you're going to make a mess. I'm doing it in a fresh remodel. And so we're not finished with anything. So I can clean all this up real easy. But thank you guys for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, then like this video. Comment down below and share this with your friends if you found this video helpful. I'll be doing a lot more pours. I'm getting ready to do a wave wall, plaster wall, right above these tiles in my bathroom. And so I'll be pouring those, and I'll do a video on those as well. If you like this video, please subscribe, like, comment, and just share the video with your friends. Thank you.